Consider this. And now Spain actually said that we can't use their bases, and that's all right. We could use their base if we want. We could just fly in and use it. Nobody's going to tell us not to use it.
According to international law, how could countries react if the US attempts to seize their military bases?
Well, they would have a right to shoot down American aircraft that were invading their airspace without consent.
And now Spain actually said that we can't use their bases, and that's all right. We could use their base if we want. We could just fly in and use it. Nobody's going to tell us not to use it.
According to international law, how could countries react if the US attempts to seize their military bases?
Well, they would have a right to shoot down American aircraft that were invading their airspace without consent.
And now...
Shalom, shalom. All praises be to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bashim Rakakadash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of great most that were well. Shalom to the hopeful elect. As you heard, Donald Trump, disregarding, his fellow neighbors of EU, NATO, showing you that the prophecies are being fulfilled, man, of the division of the EU, NATO, Babylon the Great America, where the 10 horns shall hate shall hate Babylon, the whore. All right, because Babylon is moving hella proud and arrogant, and dragging the small hatters, the state of the small hatters are dragging America into wars, which also affects the EU, NATO countries, because they're in allegiance with them. But that's gonna continue to sour and create more division, as is happening before your eyes. And this is already predicted in the Holy Scriptures, man. Okay. This is Mark 3, verse 24 says, "And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but have an end." So an end is coming because why? The division. Yeah, as the old saying goes in the world, they say if you stand for nothing, if you stand or unite for something, or it's like, how does it go? If you don't stand or unite for anything, you'll fall for anything. So they're facing the end. They're facing a fall. Ultimately, because it's biblical prophecy from the Most High Yahweh Shemeshai, and the division taking place. Okay, Satan is against Satan. Okay, Satan, the devil is Esau Edom, the so-called white man, starting with the elites. Okay, yeah. The children of the wicked, as the scripture says. This is Amos 3, verse 3 says, "Can two walk together except they be agreed?" They're not working together. They're not united. They're not one. They're not in unison. Yeah. So therefore, it's creating a rift. Okay. It's creating panic. It's creating distrust, disloyalty, disagreements. All right. Tensions of war. Revelation 17, we start from verse 12, and it says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest are the kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings, 1 hour with the beast. Sharing power with the beast, through EU, NATO. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. Yeah. They're in allegiance to Babylon the Great America. And they've given their power, their energy onto America, man. And that's why, America is like the big bully. Let me jump to verse 16. It says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. So the ones that were in allegiance with the beast are going to hate the whore. Spain, the UK, France, people are backing out. People are pointing at America and say, look, man, we don't want to be dragged into another war. Yeah, it's costing us. And shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So what does that mean? You know, when the World War happens, you know, the EU nations amongst NATO are gonna shoot their missiles on Babylon the Great America. They're gonna turn against her and be fed up of the wickedness of America. Them nations are wicked themselves because they're Edomite nations, but Babylon Great America is exceedingly wicked because America is just a war-hungry place, man. You know, it's just constant. Every year, every decade, they're involved with inside a war. They can never leave it to rest. Always want to conquer. Always want more power. Always want more control. Always want to dictate. Snatching presidents from their countries and all of that. Preemptive strikes. Always disregarding international laws and rules. Being hypocrites. They're always the ones striking and judging others, but no one can get to judge them and hold them responsible. Why? Because they got the power of the weapon, the sword, which is the blessing. Okay. So yeah, so they're gonna fire her, it says, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire, which is the nuclear destructions, which obviously Russia, China, Iran, other countries like Turkey will, and various other countries will get involved, Ezekiel 38. Yeah, and in the midst of that, that's when the Lord will return. But anyways, with that, all praise be to Yahweh, Bashim Shai, Bashim Kakadash, double honor to the elders and apostles, great most on it well. Shalom to the elect. Shalom.